Thinking of doing a PhD in Europe, here's something that most people don't know. You can actually get paid to do one. And that's right, no tuition fees, a monthly salary, and world-class research opportunities across the continent. So in this video, I will show you exactly how to land a fully funded PhD in Europe with a concrete example of Norway. And this is an example that most European countries use. So let's go. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Tafara, and on this channel we'll talk about opportunities in education, scholarships, and personal growth. So let's dive into today's topic, where we will talk about how to land a fully funded PhD in Europe. The first thing that you have to do is understand the European PhD model. This PhD model is different from the USA one. It's different from, other countries' models. So in many European countries, a PhD isn't just a degree. It is a job. You are considered as someone who is already working. So you don't apply to a program like what most of the universities in the US do. Like they want you to apply for the program and then you get in and then you get the PhD. But the PhD model for Europe is that you apply for research positions that are funded by universities, grants, or national research councils. And these positions are advertised like job openings. If you follow me on my social media accounts, be it LinkedIn or Facebook, you have seen that time and time I post PhD positions as job openings. So what it means is that these PhD comes with a contract, comes with a salary, and comes with benefits like any other job. So for example, in Norway, positions are fully funded with close to 50,000 euros per year, and you don't pay tuition. And in Germany, you can actually get a PhD through the DAD or the DFG, which is funded via project positions or scholarships. And then in Netherlands, PhD candidates are university employees with full benefits. And then the same goes for Sweden and Finland. They give salaried PhD jobs, and most of them are English taught. And then we have countries like France, Italy, Spain. They have a mixed system. Some positions are scholarships, some positions are contracts. So that is how the PhD model is for European countries. Now, where do we find these positions? We have websites like Eurosex. We have Find a PhD website. We also have academic positions website. You can go there and see the different positions, whether they are scholarships or whether they are job openings or whether they are, contract based. And some countries have their own specific portals. What it means is that if you want to do a PhD in a certain country, let's say for Norway, you have to go to their country-specific portal called Job Norge, and there you will see the different PhD positions that they are offering in Norway. The same goes for other countries. They would have their own country-specific portals. Now that I've talked about the PhD model in Europe, now let's talk about the second step that you have to do. You have to find the right research that fits you. It's not just any PhD. So it's not about, having the best grades, or it's not about you being in the top position in your class and all of that. It's about you being the best match. When we are talking about PhDs in Europe, we are talking about their research is project driven. That means that you need to align with their existing labs or their advertised projects, to align with the existing labs or advertised projects. So you would find out that in animal breeding and genetics, I'll give my example. We have people who focus on genomics, we have people who focus on molecular biology, we have people who focus on biodiversity and all of that. So what it means, if I see a PhD in animal breeding and genetics, and they want someone who is more well equipped in the genomics part of the animal breeding and genetics, and I am more based in the molecular biology part of animal breeding and genetics. If I apply for that PhD, I'm most likely not going to be picked whilst there is someone who is well experienced or who is aligning with the existing lab or who is aligning with the advertised project. So this is also one thing that you have to be mindful of. Find the right research fit. Now, the other thing that you can do is that you could look for professors or groups publishing in your area. That means you would have to look for tools like Google Scholar, tools like ResearchGate, university department pages. Why am I saying this? When you use these tools, you tend to follow people who are aligning with your research, and you are most likely to bump into the different PhD positions or PhD projects that are related to your field. Now, an example that I can give for Norway is that if you are into climate science, you can check some strong labs that do, polar studies or energy transitions or marine biology, and you can check different institutions. For example, we have NBIO, which is well known into this climate stuff, into this biodiversity stuff. So if you follow those universities, those institutions, you are most likely to bump into the PhD position that aligns with your profile or with your research. Now, the third step that I want to talk about is build a focused research profile. That means, when we do these degrees and we cover quite a lot of things, but when you are now doing a PhD, you are like narrowing down to a certain subject. So what it means is that you don't necessarily need to have 10 publications, but you need clarity and direction. So when you're building your focused research profile, you have to tailor your CV to reflect those research skills. You have to draft a short proposal if the application asks for one. You have to you have to highlight prior research experience, even if it's your master thesis. You have to include the methods, the tools, and the topics you are strong in. So when you are building your profile, you are also aligning it to the research fit or the research program that you want to do. So one tip that I want to give you is that you can have a small publication, or you can be someone who has done an internship in a relevant lab, and this can actually make you stand out when you're applying for these PhD programs. Now that we have talked about the general things that I would encourage you to consider, one thing that is very, very important is customizing every application that you make. Don't just create one CV, one proposal, one recommendation letter and use it for all the PhD positions that you're going to apply for. You have to take time to customize your application, because if you have one thing that you're going to use, you are most likely to be rejected in quite a number of the positions. Having a generic application is equal to getting rejected for a program. So every application should feel like you have made it specifically for the job position that you're applying for the PhD position that you're applying for. So what it means is that you have to read the job call line by line, match your language to theirs, highlight your background which fits into the specific project or lab that has been advertised. What it means is that you would see that when people are publishing job PhD job openings for Norway, they have a certain language that they give, and it might not be the same for people who do it in France, or for people who do it in Austria, or for people who do it in Belgium or any other country in Europe. So if you take the application that you developed for France and use it for Norway, you are most likely to get rejected. Why? Because you have not matched their language to match your language to their language. You have not actually aligned want your CV or your application to fit the specific project that they have advertised for. So what you need to know that if you want to have a strong application, you have to have a tailored CV, you have to have a motivation letter that aligns with the project that has been advertised. The same goes for research proposals if needed, and also for the recommendation letters. They have to highlight or fit the specific projects that we are talking about. Now, the fifth thing that I want to talk about is reach out, but do it smartly. So for some of the PhD positions in Europe, some people land their PhDs based on cold emailing professors and availing themselves to say, I'm available to do a PhD in your lab. I've done this and this, and I think it aligns with your lab. This works. Honestly, there are quite a number of people who have gotten their PhDs through cold emails. But when you do it, reach out, but do it smartly. Cold emails have opened quite a lot of doors for many people because they have done it well. And they can open a door for you if you also do it well. So what I want to talk about is that you need to consider these points when you are cold emailing. Mention the professor's recent work. That means you've done your research, what they are doing in their lab, what's the current status and all. And also ask a focused question. Don't just say, I'm looking for any PhD opportunities. Immediately they would ignore you and they won't respond to you. But if you know what you want to do and you're specific about it and you're focused about it, they are most likely to take some time, read your cold email, and even consider you. And then also keep it short and respectful. I've seen people cold emailing professors, and then after they've cold emailed, they don't wait for response. All they do is nag them until they are even put on the blocked list of people who should email the professors. I don't think that is actually a good way to land a PhD. You have to keep it short. You have to be respectful of people's spaces. What it means is that you email them, you wait for a response. Some of the professors might not respond to you directly because nothing has opened up yet. But they know that maybe in the next coming 2 months or in the next coming month, they are going to have an opening for you and all of that. They would not respond to you immediately, but maybe 2 months later, when you have already forgotten, you will see an email coming. Oh, I once received your CV. I now have this opportunity. Would you be interested? You see, but if you were nagging him and all of that, and you were showing that you are impatient, they might forget you and they might not consider you. So in doing all that, you will show that you have read their work, you have a reason to connect, and you are very respectful. So talk about to nail their interview. Maybe you have done all of the things that I've said above, and now you have been called for an interview. Most European PhD interviews are equal to job interviews. They don't really deviate much from job interviews. You should expect questions like, why this project? How will your research contribute? What methods will you use? And why did you choose this lab? Why did you choose this university? The way you answer these questions that I've talked about will help you to land the job, because all of the questions that I've asked about need you to dig deep, research more, and do much more things when it comes to this. So if you don't do well in these questions, of course, you might not get the position altogether. So most of the interview panels that I know, especially in Norway, they will include HR, they will include the leading project PI. They might also include external reviewers. So be ready to get behavioral questions, as well as technical questions, as well as research related questions. So be ready to answer those questions. That's how they do it. So now that we have talked about everything, are you ready to start your PhD journey in Europe? Check the links that I'll put in the comments and the different portals that I would also put in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more step-by-step videos like these. Thank you so much for watching my video.